You better strike while the iron is hot. Greetings and felicitations to all. We are very happy to be here on this 150-year illumination of the full moon, the triple moon. And so this is a monumental event when it comes to our planetary awareness. The title of this particular living holistically session is called the Illuminati. Understanding the etymology of the Illuminati is, with all respect due, to the feminine deity that is heavenly and earthly simultaneously. I think it's a very, very beautiful illumined consciousness that is over all creation. So this evening, I am Dr. Linda Karim, and this is
Jimmie Pratt. Hello, peace and blessings, and welcome.
Tonight we'll be talking about the virtues of Ma'at and the 42 laws of Ma'at, or the 42 negative confessions, or the 42 admonitions of the goddess Ma'at, the declaration of innocence. Ma'at meaning love, truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, and propriety. It's really very important to focus in on this at this point, because we all have come under universal law and principle. There are laws that govern this universe from its inception, from its immaculate conception, from its origin, that comes from a place that's perfect. And so the balance, the Ma'atian balance, has to do with tremendous laws, creative laws at work that's unimaginable in terms of power and presence. So some of the things that we want to talk about are the virtues of Ma'at, but going back to our ancient Kemetic predecessors of Upper and Lower Egypt, in Spell Book, chapter 125 of the Papyrus of Ani, also known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, and the viewer of the hieroglyphics finds the petitioner led by Anubis into a duat or dua. The virtues of Ma'at is the symbolic representation of Ma'at as a human figure with outreached hands or wings, is a nature of weighing the soul in ancient Kemet. The heart of the deceased is believed to be the seat of the soul and is weighed on the scale of the nature Ma'at against a feather, which is represented by the principles of truth and righteousness and the 7 cardinal virtues. This symbolic weighing of the heart against the feather of truth was performed to establish the righteousness of the person. The scale of ma'at was balanced after the recitation of the 42 declarations of innocence or admonitions of ma'at. So the neophyte or student's ultimate aim in Kemet was for a person to become one with God, generator, operator, and designer. Generator, operator, and demonstrator, the acronym for God, G-O-D. The path to the development of godlike qualities was through the development of virtues. But virtues could only be achieved through special study and effort. And one thing that Dr. Carruthers, you can always reference his book where he talks about the control of thoughts, control of actions, devotion of purpose. Have faith in the ability of your teacher to teach you the truth. And the truth translated means the words of God. Have faith in yourself to assimilate the truth. To have faith in themselves to utilize the truth. To be free of resentment under the experience of persecution. And I think this number 7, Dr. Pratt, is a really good one because it resonates with the frequency of being free from resentment under the experience of persecution. And many times you feel that you may not be treated well or you weren't treated with respect, right?
Right.
It's hard not to be resentful because you're conscious and aware that you're not being respected.
Right.
What do you say about that?
Well, a person has to really, come, I guess, it's a conscious effort for them to come disrespect someone else. They know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. Any person may not understand why they're doing it. But you're being disrespected.
Oh, when you are aware of the whole concept of speaking with a forked tongue.
Yeah. Speaking out both sides of the mouth. Yeah.
Or being dualistic. You have to be free from resentment under the experience of someone treating you wrong.
Well, sometimes you can say something and they might mean it another way, and you might take it the wrong way, and you might feel a little, you might get angry about it.
A little upset because it's a vibration.
Yeah, for no reason at all.
You can't hide a vibration.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
A person may be speaking very proper, but then there's this foreboding feeling that comes over you.
You misinterpret what they were saying. You might miss one word in a text, which makes the difference in what the whole sentence was. If you miss one word.
Are you speaking from a male's perspective?
Well, it could be anyone. I mean, someone texting you and you missed one word and you didn't read it correctly, and you could misinterpret what the
in social media.
Right.
Right, because then the frequency is open.
Yes, you take it the other way, and they really meant it in a different way.
Okay. B, you have to be free from resentment under the experience of wrong. So during this time in which you feel this wave of resentment, is it coming from you, or is it because you're not in harmony with that person?
Well, you're not in harmony, and I think it's always good to think about what you're going to say before you say it.
How you're going to
Right,
respond.
how you're going to respond to it. Make sure you come back with a good and reasonable, sensible answer.
So one of the ways to cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong is a virtue of ma'at. In Islamic principles, it is ijtihad, making a rational decision based on the facts that are available at the time.
So you may not have enough information.
You may not have enough information, that's correct. Cultivate the ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal. Is it true that we need to cultivate the ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Or the false or the truth?
Yes.
We know the difference?
You should.
We should.
We should know the difference.
Okay.
I guess it goes back to the way we was raised. What's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Truth.
Or maybe you
Justice.
do you know the other word for raise? There are two words.
Raise.
R-A-Z-E-D.
No, you have to let me know.
R-A-Z-E-D is that you're treated so poorly that you have no self-esteem,
Right.
right? And you're just a doormat.
People just walk all over you.
They walk all over you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. Maybe really it's not okay.
Well, sometimes people being walked on and they don't realize they're being walked on. And
That's
talk
true.
around you,
Or over you,
over you.
over your head.
Uh-huh.
So Gerald Massey, he had a saying, truth is like lightning with its errand done before you hear it. So truth is defined as the language of God. So we're going to go through the 42 laws of Ma'at, which acts as the foundation of the oldest code of ethics known to the human family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's codified. And the reason why we have laws, why do we have laws?
Well, it keeps you out of trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Everybody's on the same page, and if everybody's doing the same way and doing the same thing, then you must be right.
Well, nobody ever does the same thing the same way.
Well, no. Everybody got their own way of doing it, but there's a code that you have to follow.
Like what?
Yeah, let's see. First, let's go back to the Bible. Sinning. Have you sinned? The 10 Commandments.
Well, the 42 laws of Ma'at
That covers.
precedes the 10 Commandments.
Yes, it does.
And so we're looking at a historical text where our predecessors,
This was written long before.
long before the other code of ethics,
Right.
the Silent Brotherhood, the Masonic Order, the dualistic laws of people who are in government, the code of ethics of the code of ethics, the laws of Mongolia, Genghis Khan. You know, everyone has laws that govern the Knights Templar and King Arthur and the Round Table. All of these knights, crusaders, they had codes of ethics.
So they picked the best ones from each group and they formed the code of ethics.
Right, but it's like gravity. Who chose that? That's a law you need to.
Yeah, the law of gravity.
Yeah, right.
So we standing on our head, walk upside down.
Well, one thing about it is that there are laws that we cannot break.
Mm-hmm. You can't break the law of gravity.
You cannot break the law of
What
breathing.
goes up comes down.
You can't break the law of water.
Right.
Because water is what? Wet. You can't break the law of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Because fire is
hot.
It's true to itself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't break the law of the air.
Right.
Because it is truly oxygenating
Mm-hmm.
and it's truly dry.
Yes.
So the earth, we have to obey these laws in order to be here. The law of the earth,
Water,
water, fire,
gravity.
air,
Yeah.
and space. All those laws must be obeyed. And the original people of this planet had to come up with some laws. Because if you live by yourself, you make all the laws and you make all the rules.
And you're always right.
And you're always right and you're always alone.
And
Right.
Nobody wants to be alone.
And nobody wants to be alone. But when you are paired with a mate,
Mm-hmm.
or if there's a second person, you're going to have some laws.
Well, you have to come up with an agreement. You have to.
And agreement, right. I think so.
So you can't always be right. You have to be able to work with somebody, and so
you
you make
what?
rules. You make rules. Even if you're driving down Broad Street and the red light come on, what you gonna do? You gonna go through it, or you gonna stop? You go through it, somebody else might be coming through the green.
Yeah, some people never got that.
Yeah.
That they would always run the light.
Mm-hmm. You run the light.
But look at the word rule. There's a prefix right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it means? Spirit. The root is a spirit. And you have to obey the rules of the spirit, because the spirit is going to tell you what is possible. And it's also going to tell you where you're unlimited. There are areas where you're not limited at all. But then there are rules that govern this earth that must be obeyed. Otherwise, you're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So let's go over the
Principles of Ma'at.
the principles of Ma'at.
Okay, now you already talked about truth, justice, harmony, balance, the order, reciprocity, and propriety. Okay, the first rule is I have not committed sin. That's the first rule.
What do you think about that?
Well, sin means that you have not, you don't do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or you haven't done anything that was wrong. You haven't committed a sin. Could be the 10 Commandments. You go back over that, and to me that would be a sin. And you got spiritual sins and physical sins.
All right. What does the word sin mean?
Go up, Dodge. Well.
Sin is an old name for the moon.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were and we still are people of the earth, and we come out of an agrarian society, an agricultural society. And we need to know when to sin and not to sin. There's wisdom in this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So any new projects that you want to do, you start on the new sin, on the new moon. Carpenters, people who do architectural planning, urban planning, when you're cutting wood.
So there's a time too.
There's a time to sin.
There's a time to build.
And then there's a time to put together. And so when they say, I have not sinned, does that mean generically that it's an assumption that I have not broken any laws?
Right.
But if you plant at the wrong moon cycle, you're not going to get a good crop.
Not going to get anything.
Isn't that true?
That's true.
Now, for all those gardeners that love to have beautiful plants, and there you're growing from seed, one thing about it, you're going to have to start to plant those seeds on what?
On the right moon.
On the right moon. On time. And so if you sin, if you miss the time, it's going to affect your crop.
The outcome will be pretty.
Right. And then there are people who are responsible for thousands of acres of land. Now, do you think that they're so careless that they would start their crops from seeds at the wrong time, knowing that thousands of people are dependent on that particular product?
And these people get it right every time.
They have to get it right every time.
Mistake. They cannot make a mistake.
Why?
Well, somebody might go hungry.
Lots of people would go hungry because of the wrong timing and being out of sync with nature. What's the second one?
The second one, I have not committed robbery with violence.
That you have not gone into somebody else's garden and took their food and they didn't know it.
You know, I had a brother, he planted his garden every year, and he'd go to sleep at night, and his neighbors would come, and I guess they're hungry, you know, some of them, they would come and they would take a tomato or a cucumber or a head of cabbage. Now, you don't miss a tomato or a cucumber, but you will miss a whole head of cabbage if somebody takes a cabbage out of your garden.
That's right.
Yeah, so, you know, I wanted to share that because he had shared that with me a couple of times, and he said, man, they just come. He said, I just plant enough for everybody. I said,
you do.
That's the best way to do it.
And we found that out when we planted the peach tree.
Yeah, we had to plant enough for the squirrels.
We have to plant a second tree for the squirrels.
Yeah, the squirrels like
we didn't know that law. And so every year, the squirrels would leave us maybe 10 or 20 peaches on the tree. And we were trying to figure out why they just didn't leave half. Yeah. Because there would be hundreds of peaches on the tree.
They love those seeds inside the peaches because inside the seed is a nut, which is really good to them. Now, what they did is they would take the peaches and take those seeds out of the peaches, and they would hide them in the neighbor's yard.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to share this story about our neighbor put a pile of peach holes on the porch. And it was from her renegade squirrels.
She sent them over to
and she thought it was so funny because the squirrels would take the peaches from our yard and then put it in and bury them in her yard.
Right.
Okay, so it's really, really important in a community that these laws are put in practice. It's one thing to fight for principles, but it's harder to live by principles, isn't it?
It is.
What's the next one?
I have not stolen. From nobody. It's when you steal from someone, or someone steals something from you. You have and you feel violated.
Wait a minute, that resentment, that wave of
You
resentment.
feel violated, like they didn't just, broke in, and it's not a good feeling,
It's not. It's not.
And some things can't be replaced.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. And I think Genghis Khan said that, a community is really, really together when a woman can ride on a horse naked with sacks of gold on the saddle.
And nobody pays attention.
And nobody violates her, or no one tries to take advantage of her.
Right.
So there are certain things when you're looking at a community that's thriving, that's happy and healthy and living holistically, then there are certain principles that have to be practiced. There was a time when people could leave their door open, sleep outside,
And weren't afraid.
and not afraid, not having that bad feeling.
Right.
What's the fourth one?
The fourth one is I have not slain men and women. I have not slain men and women.
Well, you don't have to actually kill somebody to slay them.
Take their spirit.
You can take their spirit, take their self-confidence,
Yeah.
Make them feel bad, disrespect them, not being tactful,
Talk about them behind their back.
talk about them behind their back. They're not present, they can't defend themselves.
Right.
They might not be in a state of mind where they can defend themselves. They may be mourning, they may have gone through, be going through something that crossroads in their lives, And when you find people like that, don't slay them. Be gentle. Number 5.
Number 5, I have not stolen food.
Have you ever gone to a cookout?
I've been to a cookout.
And the people that come, they take 5 plates home?
Well, I didn't see it, but we had a little thing going one time, a gathering, and one family came. They had a rather large family, and they was getting the food, and they was putting it in the vehicle and hiding it so because they could take it home. And I kind of felt a little bad because I felt that I said, well, maybe they don't have any food, and they probably didn't. But you still shouldn't. You should not steal.
Not unless somebody actually
Right.
offers it.
Right.
Or you go to the grocery store and you have lunch.
If someone come to me and say, man, I'm hungry, you got something for me? I would feed them.
Have you ever been to the grocery store and start eating the grapes, the cherries?
That's, what do they call it? They call that grazing. Grazing like a cow, when they're out grazing in the grass. And that's what they call you. It's a crime. And that's stealing.
And if you had a business and you had your apples out in the marketplace.
Right. And everybody that walked by picked up an apple.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right, the next one.
The next one is I have not swindled offerings.
Wow. What's a swindler? That's someone that talks you out of your money
Yeah.
by offering you a deal,
Yep.
like foreign money, that you can buy a bundle of it and you can make $1 million.
Well, there's a person came around once and he was talking. He was like, all this new stuff that's coming up, this this new money, Bitcoins. And I just knew he was trying to swindle me out of my money.
Why? Because you had that feeling again?
Because I hadn't heard about it, and it was just a feeling. And if you get
that feeling that comes back.
And if you get,
I think those feelings are a biological response to something not being right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to pay attention to those feelings. Not as a biofeedback mechanism, not that it will take you over. Because a child has a very fast feedback loop. So it can stumble and fall, and if you don't make any eye contact, the child won't cry. And so the recovery time for something that could be negative is quicker. But if you have a person whose feedback loop takes longer, when the resentment comes, it lasts longer. And it takes longer for that person to go back to their homeostasis state, because we're always trying to maintain balance. What's the next one?
I have not stolen from God.
All right, what does that mean?
Mean that I have been honest with Him.
To the God within?
I'll say the God within me. I'm honest with myself. So I haven't lied to myself. I've always been truthful.
Is that called adultery? When you do that?
When you cheat on yourself.
you have dreams, hopes, desires. Huh? You have these dreams. You have inspiration from God, and it's like Him telling you exactly what to do.
Well, you know what to do, and God is in all of us. And when you steal from yourself, I mean, you go out, you know there's something that you're supposed to do anyway, and you don't do it.
You cheat yourself.
You cheat yourself.
God
and you're cheating God.
All right, God as a generator, operator, and
right. Distributor.
Right, because He wants you to be successful.
Right.
That means that if there's a sale going on, you already have 10 khaki pants. You don't need 10 more. So when you look in your closet, you have 20.
Yeah, and you haven't paid your rent.
That's true. What's the next one?
The next one is, I have not told lies.
Now that's very important. Because my mother said, if you lie, you will what?
Steal.
If you steal, you'll...
Well, if you lie, you'll steal.
Right? That's an old saying.
And if you steal, I'm throwing it back at you.
Right, so... You can't remember all the stories you tell.
Well, I've heard all those stories, and they come and go. And if you practice them, it's like saying your prayer. It's second nature. You can't cheat on yourself, like we talked about earlier. If you say your prayer, everything is second nature. It just comes to you. All the laws, if you practice these laws, you always be in the good.
Yeah, because God is good.
Or favor you.
Well, when we talk about this goodness, you stay within these laws, and the majority of your feelings will be good. You'll have these good feelings.
Right.
But once you break one of these laws, like when you start lying, and then you're caught.
Yeah.
And that negative, that resentment,
Mm-hmm.
that disappointing feeling comes.
Yeah, you can lie and to gain the advantage. And once you get the advantage, that feeling that comes over you in order to gain that advantage, it's not a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an experience with that over the holidays. And once the advantage has been gained, it's no, you didn't win. You really didn't win.
That's true.
Yeah, so you shouldn't lie. Tell the truth. Everything will be copacetic.
All right, the next one.
I have not carried away food. And we talk about that. You had a cookout.
Mm-hmm. And you carry away
and
food.
you're carrying away food.
And sometimes,
everybody hadn't been fed.
Sometimes it's a tradition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fix a plate, and you're told, it's a tradition. Fix a plate.
Yeah. And take it.
And take it.
We went to church once. There's a lot of people in the church. But these certain people that would get up, they would take all the food before anybody getting fed. They would fill all these plates up and take it off. Take off with it. You sitting over there hungry. You'd be like, where they going with the food? They'd be like, they're going to take it off before we get a chance. And they did a couple of times, because we attended this church more than once.
Mm-hmm. What's the next one?
Okay. But then I wanted some of that food. I have not cursed.
All right. I think this is it's a community-based perspective. Because there was a time when people didn't curse, men didn't curse in front of women and children.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't use a bad word.
Right.
Because you have the power of life in your tongue.
When we was coming up, some words that we used was not bad words, or they was bad words to us. And then we go, because I came from the country, but we go to the city, and they was using these words in their everyday language. It was like, he just cursed. But to them, they didn't curse.
I think it's just how you get accustomed,
Right.
how you normalize an abnormal behavior.
He said a bad word. Well, when you curse, you shouldn't use nobody's name in vain.
Well, the other thing is that if children aren't doing well in school, they do not need to be reprimanded.
Right.
They need to be encouraged.
I agree.
All right?
Mm-hmm. I have not closed my ears to truth.
Sometimes you don't want it.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
It does, and your ears are wide open, and you can't close them.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore it. You have the right to ignore what you hear.
Well, yeah.
But guess what? Your ears are open, and you can't close them.
Can't close them. You're going to hear it if you don't, even if you don't want to hear it. If you're sitting over there 500 pounds and somebody said, hey, you 500 pounds, you need to lose some weight, it might hurt your feelings. But it's the truth. It is the truth, and what you going to do about it. Did I mean to hurt your feelings? No. But it was the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes for people who have a compromised immune system and they're not feeling good anyway, anything you would say, they would misconstrue.
Mm-hmm. And guess what the next one is? I have not made anyone cry. So if I hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm. And made somebody cry.
And made them cry. So you have to be mindful of what you say.
Oh,
so it's all in words.
Is being very tactful.
Yeah.
And I think, too, It's not what you say.
It's how you say it.
But some things have to be said. Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay, what's the next law?
I have not felt sorry without reasons. What do you mean by that?
Well, depression is an abnormal response to stimuli. And maybe what you're going through doesn't require you to be sad. But if you keep rehearsing that resentment, that bad feeling,
Over and over again.
yeah, it sets in as an illness. Melancholy, depression, starts very innocently, But if you know there's a law that says be of good cheer.
So if a person finds themselves slipping into sadness, what would you recommend?
Change,
Scenery?
go outside, take a shower.
Do something different?
Do something different.
Okay. Get around friends?
Or clean up, start cleaning up.
Yeah, okay. 'Cause it's just a thought, right?
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
But that feeling doesn't have to burn you. You can just brush it off.
Right.
Remember, children have a shorter reset time. Adults, 40, 50, 60 years old or more,
They hold on to
they brood. They nurture the resentment. And if they knew that they could respond quickly and get it away from them, then they will feel much better.
Well, the next one is, I have not assaulted anyone.
That's very important.
So you don't have to physically assault someone.
You can verbally
You
assault
can
a person.
You can verbally do it.
Or you can do it in silence. Silence speaks louder than words.
It's a look. Could be body language. You look a certain way and they see you and you look in a certain way. It's like, well, that guy don't like me, that woman don't like me.
But they say no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Right, okay.
But there are different types of weapons. Anything could be a weapon. It's where you can assault somebody and put things in check.
Right. Okay, I am not deceitful.
Or manipulative.
Yeah.
And these are characteristics that we should have anyway, because it frees us from the chemical imbalance of this negative behavior.
You're just doing something just to hurt someone else.
Right, so every thought held in mind reproduces after its own kind. Once you know that law of every thought held in mind reproduces after its own kind, it's like when you put in a tomato seed in the earth, what's going to come out?
A tomato.
If you put cucumber in the earth, what's going to come out?
Get a cucumber.
Okay, when you put deceit,
You're going to get deceitful.
and you will be someone.
Reap what you sow.
You'll reap what you sow.
Reap what you sow. Yes, you will. And you have to be mindful of what you say and what you do, and how you carry yourself.
Well, we're planting seeds all the time. We're planting, and hopefully enough, every word that we utter becomes seeds of reality.
And this is a good one here. I like this one. I have not stolen anyone's land.
Oh, that's huge.
For their business, you know.
Oh, that's huge. That's unethical.
It's unethical.
You know,
Yeah.
to, even exploit someone. And there are a lot of people that are occupying somebody's land,
Right.
and they're bold. They're walking around real bold.
So if you stole the land or business,
Give
that
it
means
back.
You have sinned. You robbed somebody. You stolen, and it's like stealing food because then they don't have the money to buy food with. You swindled. You stole from God because you stole your own dignity. You lied. You cursed, and you did not tell the truth, and you committed a sin. You made somebody cry. You hurt their feelings. All these things just...
Or you hurt them economically.
Economically, yeah. And then you see them again, and they're doing well. It's like...
With your property.
Yeah. With your property, I tell you. Let's go to the next one. I have not been an eavesdropper.
Oh my God. Remember we went to that restaurant and there was a family that was talking about what they were going to do with their money?
Yep. You got interested there.
It was, I was having dinner at the same time I was eavesdropping. But, there are other ways to, eavesdrop.
But I think they wanted the conversation to kind of carry over to the next table.
Mm-hmm. Because they got louder.
Yeah, they got louder. And sometimes people do that because they want to let you know that, hey, I got it going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't mind. But then if you're trying to hear something, somebody don't want you to hear something, you're all like this right here all day. And they're like, you're trying to listen to our conversation. So it could go both ways.
Well, my daughter-in-law says that you should never have a conversation where other people can eavesdrop. So time and place is important in terms of where you discuss personal issues.
Now, who wrote these principles?
These principles was written 2,000 years before Christ, actually. And there are more compilations, and they have the African language encoded in it. And so these are truths to live by.
Right.
And to have good community life, good family life.
Right.
Because all of these things are important. A man doesn't want a lion wife. A wife doesn't want a lion husband. Right?
That's right.
They don't want lion children. They don't want cursing children. They want...
So at least don't fall too far from the tree.
Right. They don't want children that steal.
Right.
You want children that are responsible. Because your name is better than gold. And the next show we're going to talk about these golden rules, but we wanted to put the Ma'atian context up front so that we can examine these, and this is the foundation for good community life, where you can leave your door open, your daughter is safe, your property is safe, your car is safe. Right? Your home is safe.
Your family is safe, your whole family.
Not a lot of cursing in the environment. Okay? So these things, when you look at well-organized, well-structured communities, there are certain characteristics that you're going to find in that community. That the majority of you're always going to have people who have an intellectual disability, who really, they need others to take care of them and support them. And we should know who they are, that the community will rally around and support, the weakest link. But the stronger your communication and the stronger the people go by these laws, live by these laws, you're going to have a legacy.
Right.
You're going to have a community that will grow and develop into something that is very prosperous.
Okay, we're about halfway through this. And the next one on the list is, I have not falsely accused anyone.
This is very, very important, and in a relationship between men and women, you have to have that element of trust, that dignity, and not to over exaggerate something that occurred. Stay true to what happened. Keep a clear mind. Don't embellish it.
Right.
That's important. What do you think?
I think that's true. Because if you accuse someone, there's people that have gone to jail for years because someone falsely accused them of a crime that they didn't commit. Now, there's a football player here that I read about, I guess a week or two ago. He was falsely accused, and they wanted to know what should they do with the person that accused a person of doing something wrong when they didn't do. What should they be liable for? Should they have to pay for all the time that this person spent his incarcerated, or what should a person, how should they be punished? Should they be punished in some way to make up for this person, this other individual that probably would have made the NFL?
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, but I read that in the, and someone falsely accused this young man on something that he did not do.
Living in dignity, I think, is very important that we stay true to ourselves and be a truth teller. Do not violate someone else's human rights.
Okay, the next one, if we go ahead on past that one and say, I have not been angry without reasons.
There are a lot of people that are angry because they don't feel good. They are in pain.
So we go back. Being angry is just another thought, right? It's just a thought process.
It's an over exaggeration of a response to circumstances that you can't process.
Right. So you have no answer for it, so you get upset and angry about it.
And that's that reptilian brain kicking in.
Yeah.
So you when someone is angry, you cannot talk them out of that adrenaline.
Right.
Because it takes 300 gallons of water to dilute 1/100th ounce of pure adrenaline that you've released into your bloodstream.
You're in the middle of the desert. With one canteen of water, you're going to get mad. You only have a few drops left. But the first sign of anger, when a person is angry, it says breathing. You watch the breathing, and you can almost tell what's going to happen next.
Right. If you notice that they're holding their breath.
Yeah.
Now, to diffuse it is to continue to breathe. normally. But if you are upset, you'll hold your breath and your brain can't get enough oxygen.
You may fall out.
No, you get angry.
Yeah, you get angry. Okay.
That's your response. But you have activated the fight or flight mechanism in the brain. That reptilian animal brain kicks in,
Right.
and you're ready to fight or
Ready to
cuss
fight.
somebody out.
So your reasoning can't
It's
be fast
gone.
enough. Yeah.
It's gone. Because you can't use the frontal lobe of the brain
Right.
at the same time that you can use
Yeah, right.
the back of the brain.
The reptilian brain.
You cannot use both.
Right.
One cancel out the other.
I have not seduced anyone's wife.
Oh, you can talk about that.
Well, that's the truth. You know, I guess, I haven't seduced anybody's wife. But it does happen.
Yeah, but we're weighing this on a scale of life.
Okay, I got a scenario. Let's say if a person is married, they've been separated for a while, and as soon as the one individual meets someone, then here they come back. It's like, you messed with my wife. Is that seducing somebody's wife? Or I guess once you're married, you're always married? Or if that's the case, then you only get to be married one time, because that person will always, the only thing that separates you is death.
That's unreasonable. When you know that that person is married,
Right.
and without a woman there is no household.
Yeah,
Without a woman there is no family.
If that woman is in
So
the
you're
house,
taking a valuable member of a household, probably with children, and you're destroying a family.
but if they're separated,
We're not talking about that.
okay, but
We're
if they're
just talking
together, yeah,
about-
they're together, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. These things that we're talking about,
So you should wait until that person is completely out of the loop before you get something started.
don't start anything.
Right.
As long as that person is married
Yeah, leave it alone.
or committed to their mate, do not interfere.
They do not disturb sign.
Do not disturb, and respect that,
Yeah.
because the animal instinct mechanism is here to stay. And you can't tell it to go away. But we want to be able to establish good sound principles in the community so that we can live by these principles and reap the success of a good life. No one says that it's going to be easy. We're not saying that, but life can be beautiful if you live by these rules. Do you want to say something about that?
Well, I mean, if you live by the rules, you can't go wrong. Everybody's
Universal.
on the same page, and you pretty much know what that next person is thinking, in a sense. You know how they're feeling, because they know how you feel. If someone do you wrong, you know how you feel, and that person will know how you feel if they've been treated badly. So with these laws here, it helps to get you through life without a lot of stress. You're not, you're obeying the laws. You're not terrorizing anyone. You're not terrorizing yourself. You're not cheating yourself. You're not cheating anyone else. You're not stealing nothing from anybody. So, these 42 laws, we got through half of them, but you can go and look go online, you can pull up the 42 laws of Ma'at, and you'll be able to see them all. And you can
And next week we're going to talk about the additional laws, and we're going to finish off this series. Thank you for tuning in We appreciate you, we honor you, and thank you for joining this community expression with Dr. Jimmie Pratt and Dr. Linda Karim, the ambassadors of peace with the United Nations Federation of Universities.